Hey, it's Conrad Thompson, and you're listening to What Happened When? With the voice of your childhood, Tony Schiavone. Tony, what's going on, man? How are you?
Just hanging out with you on a Wednesday here, as actually you and I are taping earlier than Wednesday, but hanging out with you and our producer, Dave Silva. How you guys doing?
Man, we're doing great. So excited to be with you today. Of course, it's a big week. We are home stretching it. Big pay-per-view coming up this weekend, Double or Nothing. It'll be here before you know it. Tickets are on sale now, AEWTIX.com. That's AEWTIX.com. And we thought, hey, you know what? There's lots of rumor and innuendo about our man, Bryan Danielson, wanting to wind down his in-ring career. And if you're a longtime AEW fan, you know that boy, Nigel McGuiness has had some little backhanded comments about Bryan Danielson over the years. So I thought, why not introduce Tony to their backstory? Some incredible matches between Nigel McGuiness and Bryan Danielson. And as folks are listening to this today, Tony, it's Bryan's birthday. So it's all things Bryan Danielson today here on What Happened When. How about that?
Happy birthday, Bryan Danielson, who has become one of my top 5 favorite wrestlers of all time. And what's interesting about this story is that the other night after we did Collision, Bryan Danielson and Nigel McGuiness and I sat in the back in one of the locker rooms there, one of the rooms that we dress in, and the three of us talked for an hour. After the show was over, everybody had left. We were still talking, just talking about stories and talking about AEW and talking about journeys. And I thought it was so cool. I remember sitting there thinking it's so cool talking to these two guys. And now all of a sudden, without me knowing, you guys select this. So I think this is so freaking cool that we're able to do this. So.
Why don't you join us? These are not matches that you're going to see on WWE's Peacock. Instead, you're going to see them as part of the Honor Club over at ROHWrestling.com. If you haven't checked that out, man, let me just tell you, Ring of Honor has like a who's who of before they were stars, including two of the best that ever did it, Nigel McGuiness and Bryan Danielson. That's all available with your subscription to Honor Club at ROHWrestling.com. We're going to be watching a collection of some Ring of Honor matches between 2006 and 2008. And we're going to get started with Unified, which went down August 12th, 2006. This is an ROH World Championship match against the ROH Pure Championship. So it's title for title. It's pure wrestling rules. It's an interesting concept. If you're not familiar with the Pure title, Nigel McGuiness comes in as your Pure champion. Bryan Danielson comes in as your world champion, I believe. And this went down at one of the very first international Ring of Honor shows, Unified, August 12th, 2006. Man, I'm rip roaring ready to go. I'm fired up on my side. You got everything ready on your side?
Yeah. Are we going to be able to put a link to this, to these matches?
Yeah. ROHWrestling.com. That's okay. Honor Club. Just went through all that. I'm sorry. It's ROHWrestling.com.
So all these matches are together on Ring of Honor, right?
I'm telling everybody where to get them. It's Unified, August 12th, 2006 at ROHWrestling.com as a part of their Honor Club membership.
Gotcha. I thought these were like just a couple of matches that we had put together on our own, but no.
The link that you have is different from what everyone watching at home is going to do. They're going to join Honor Club at ROHWrestling.com. They're going to look for Unified. It went down on August 12th, 2006. Now we made it easy for old man Schiavone to just click play, you see.
All right, then.
If you'll give me the countdown, we'll start watching wrestling anytime now, Tony.
Got a special countdown. The special countdown. We were in the Atlanta area. We were visited by President Joe Biden this weekend.
Hey now.
He gave the commencement speech at Morehouse College. There were some protesters, as always, wherever we go or wherever the president goes. But I being from Virginia, I spent some time going to the coast and then going up to the Delmarva Peninsula And I used to stop and see the in Delaware and see the Briscoes, get a couple of chickens. Uh, and then I used to go on to where Joe Biden lived and would sit down and talk to Joe. And this was long before he became president, when he was just in Congress. So we've been fast friends. So he stopped by the house, especially he knew he could stop by the house this weekend because Lois was in New Jersey and she wouldn't chase him off the property. And I asked him, I said, Joe, can you, I'm sorry, I said, Mr. President, could you give us a countdown? And he said, yeah, I guess I could. And he went 3, 2, 1. I said, no, not now. Not now. I said, let me record it. He said, okay. So here we go. President Joe Biden with our countdown.
Wow.
Hey, this is your President Joe Biden. I'm supposed to say something here about those two guys. What's the names? Oh, yeah, Conroy and Tommy. And I guess it's time to count down. Now, hold on. I can do this. Ready? Set. No, wait. I got it. 3, 2, 1. Play.
Bryan Danielson, Nigel McGuiness. Here are the rules of this match. You each get 3 rope breaks to break up a pinfall or a submission attempt. Once you use those 3 rope breaks, the ropes will play and can be used by your opponent, but they cannot be used by you to break up a pin or a submission. There is a strict 20 count on the floor. There will be no close fist strikes to the face. On the first close fist, you'll be issued a warning. On the second, you'll be penalized a rope break. And if you have no rope breaks left, you will be disqualified. And in this match, both the pure title and the world title can change hands on a countout or a disqualification. In the event of a double pin, double countout, or double disqualification, the match will be restarted. Do you both understand these rules? Yeah. Please shake hands, go to your corners, and wait for the bell.
It's to me
So
very interesting. A couple of things here: how young Bobby Cruz looks,
Mhm.
how young Bryan Danielson looks, and how big freaking Nigel McGuiness is.
18 years ago. Yeah. Of all the guys, cause my friends and I first started watching Ring of Honor. I mean, we were familiar with it back in 02, but it wasn't until 04 that I started paying a lot more attention to it. And once I started paying attention to it, I started to realize, hey, you know what? These guys are going to wrestle for the WWE at a really high level. And at this point, of course, TNA is still a viable number 2, but they're way behind WWE. But I just thought, okay, there's going to be a handful of these guys who are going to break through and be megastars with WWE. And Nigel McGuiness would have been at the top of my list. He had the height, he had the size, he had the in-ring work. I mean, he just had everything. I thought for sure he was can't miss. And then of course we knew that he had some medical stuff and that was
Right.
not going to be the case. But even here, I thought Bryan Danielson was probably the best wrestler in the world, but I thought, well, Nigel's the one of the two who will make it though. Like Danielson will be, I hate to make the comparison to Sabu, but you remember back in the early to mid 90s, Sabu was like the guy you heard about on the indies. He was king of
Right.
the indies. So I kind of thought that's what Bryan was going to be. He'll be the best wrestler in the world, but he's probably going to be independent. I just didn't think Vince would get behind him. And as luck would have it, Nigel never worked there. I mean, not as an in-ring performer like we would have imagined. And Bryan Danielson became one of their very top stars. I just wouldn't have guessed that here. I thought for sure it would be Nigel.
Yeah, Nigel looks great. He's big. He's strong. And just a couple of things about Ring of Honor. I didn't know anything about Ring of Honor, as you know. I didn't know anything about anything in wrestling at that time. I knew that TNA was out there because I had done something with them right at the beginning. So I knew they were out there doing things. The only thing I knew about Ring of Honor was that Gary Juster worked for it. And that was about the extent of it. So when Nigel is talking about on TV, Bryan Danielson, I remember starting to think, oh, he must have a history with Bryan Danielson.
Right.
And I was not familiar with it. And this is the first time that I've seen the two wrestle. So this is pretty exciting for me. One of the guys I respect more than anything else, Bryan Danielson, and my colleague who I just absolutely love working with. But that left hand slap, man, face. Who I just absolutely love working with, Nigel McGuinness. I have so much fun with him. He makes me laugh a lot. And so this is really pretty special. It really is.
These guys were in the ring, according to Cage Match, 37 different times. The first time they were in the ring was a trios match. Look at the talent in this one. This was way back in 05. Bryan Danielson teaming with Samoa Joe and Vordell Walker. Boy, that's a blast from the past. You would have loved Vordell Walker, a South Georgia boy. Taking on James Gibson, who we know is Jamie Noble, Nigel McGuinness, and Spanky, who we know as Brian Kendrick. What a loaded freaking match that was. That was way back in 05. They would have a singles match for the first time the following year in 06. That was ROH Weekend of Champions. And that was title versus title. They would do it again in July, this time in Cleveland. I guess there's two back-to-back in Cleveland. And now this is the unified event. So this is their rubber match, I suppose. The first time Nigel McGuinness beat Bryan Danielson. The second time Bryan Danielson returns the favor. So we're squared up at one apiece. This is the end of their little trilogy, or so we would think, because they were doing it again just 2 weeks later. I mean, it became a legendary feud for Ring of Honor, but I think a lot of people were making the comparison about these guys, the way they had CM Punk and Samoa Joe a couple years prior. And at the time, people were saying, hey, that was the best trilogy since Flair Steamboat. I don't know about all that, but it got Ring of Honor on the map again in 04 with some positive news after a little bit of controversy. So for them to come back and do a big feud like this in 06 with two other guys who people thought were the best in the world, this was right up Ring of Honor's alley.
This is good stuff. It's starting out very, very slow, but that's okay. You know, you can build up to it. And I'm really enjoying it. Nigel I'm just again blown away about how big he was here. And I mean, not only muscular, but how tall he is here.
Yeah.
He's
not a little
really
guy.
great.
And, you know, standing in there with Bryan Danielson, he feels like a giant, but he is, I mean, he had the height, I thought for sure that would get Vince's attention. The match we're watching right now is going down at the Liverpool Olympia in Liverpool, England. They're going to go 26 minutes and 24 seconds on this one, Tony.
Wow. Plenty of time for us to bullshit. Bryan Danielson. And again, I didn't see much of Bryan Danielson, obviously, at Ring of Honor. And as you know, I pretty much ignored wrestling during the 18 years I was out. And of course, a lot of those years was when Bryan was with the WWE. Only thing I knew about Bryan Danielson was yes, because it kind of became a meme.
Yeah, of course.
You know, and they still do it today. Even though it's something that is obviously trademarked by the WWE. And Bryan can't do it, but the fans always do it.
Right.
But after I saw him work, and after I got to know him really, really well, which I do, truly is amazing his longevity and how that son of a bitch will work on Wednesdays and Saturday.
Yes.
Now, comparatively to the guys that I knew back in the 80s who worked every day and put in long matches every day, that's not saying anything. But in this day and age, when you only have to work in AEW 2 nights a week, Wednesdays and Saturdays, and then again maybe on Sunday if we got a pay-per-view or something, it's just pretty amazing to me, at his age, the effort he puts in to what he does.
And to be clear too, a lot of those guys who were working the crazy schedule back in the day, they were wrestling a different style that was more entertainment, less physical.
Right.
And you could have a little razzle dazzle, a little gaga. I think Bryan Danielson, he he's going to have a different style of match than say the Boogie Woogie Man when he was working 5-6 days a week.
Absolutely. Because Boogie Woogie Man didn't go over 5 minutes.
And he didn't take very many bumps.
No, he didn't.
Whereas Mr. Danielson sometimes attacks the mat like it owes him money.
Right. Yeah.
And look at the psychology about working a body part here. I mean, this is old school. Like,
yeah.
And my concern, I guess I shouldn't say my concern, but in this era, I just thought, I love this stuff. This is like my favorite type of wrestling. Like, I like Bryan Danielson stuff. He's been the best wrestler in the world for a long time, in my opinion. But I could see how some people would say, well, this is too old school. It's too throwback. We need 3 minute, 3 minutes of high paced, high spots. And that's just not what this is, but I still really, really like it. And I found a review that said, it was a review from some guy, which I thought was hilarious. I'm not going to beat around the bush. This is one of the best matches I've ever seen. So I'm just going to gush about it for this entire review. I mean, he's a real artist here. I mean, I hate to be total Kenny Omega philosophical here, but like, he's coming up with stuff that in combinations that you just don't normally see.
Right. There's a lot of fans out there that just want to see stunt shows.
Mm-hmm.
That's all they want to see. They want to see a guy go through a table. They want to see Darby Allin jump off a 10-foot ladder onto glass. They want to see barbed wire come out from under the ring. They love the tacks, the thumbtacks. There are a lot of people who love that, and that's fine if you love stuff like that. But then again, if you really love pro wrestling and telling a story, holy shit, you love something like this. That is a move. We just saw that axe handle.
Yep.
You don't see that much anymore. You don't. I mean, you see it on the back, but you don't see it tying the guy up on the turnbuckle pads and then smashing with the axe handle like Nigel just did. Nigel's coming up with some great shit here, man.
By the way, if for some reason you're not a member of Honor Club at ROHWrestling.com, you can find this match on YouTube. But listen, if you're enjoying what you're seeing, let's support Ring of Honor, one of the little engines that could. And check out the Honor Club, because if you like this sort of wrestling, boy, there's so much in the archives, to me. And I know some people would argue, well, what about when they were on Access? And what about when they had TV? And the early, more formative days of Ring of Honor, 02, 03, 04, 05, 06, 07, even into 08, just some unbelievable stuff, man.
Yeah. I'm catching on to that right now. And actually really enjoying. Boy, I sure have a lot to talk about with Nigel coming up this week.
I mean, the hair with the frosted tips,
the
height.
He's
a badass looking dude.
He is a badass looking dude. And he's a very good announcer. And he was a very good announcer with WWE.
Yes.
I don't know why they let him go, but they did. And that's, I remember when they let him go, I remember Tony Khan mentioned, he said, they let Nigel McGuiness go. And I thought he was one of their better announcers. And I remember when Tony's saying that, thinking, I bet you Nigel's going to come work for us. And he did. And good for us, because he's a lot of fun. I have to give Nigel credit about this. He does as much preparation, or probably more preparation, than a lot of people, announcers. He really, really does. And during the days on Saturday, he and I will and usually I have a lot of work to do normally during TV days, but I was told by Tony Khan and Mike Mansouri that on days that you're doing Collision, you just prep for the show. Don't worry about pre-tapes. Don't worry about talent relations. Just prep for the show. So Nigel and I just kind of stay in the announcer's room and prep for the show. And it's a whole day of doing that, and I really, really enjoy it. But back to Bryan Danielson, just wrestling on Saturday and Wednesday. I told him, I said, you're insane. You're absolutely insane. But that's the way he is. That's what he does. And I know he said this would be his last year wrestling. I'm not so sure. I don't think. I don't think he's going to. He said, before I go quietly in the night. I don't think he's going to go quietly in the night. I just don't.
I didn't think it was ever going to happen either, but when I saw that AEW had booked the Tacoma Dome, I thought,
Right.
maybe
Yes.
possibly that feels like
The end.
yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, it could be because that is south of Seattle and a little bit north of Aberdeen. So, well, I would guess a little bit northeast of Aberdeen.
I'm just
Um,
thinking, boy, if he's going to get the Sting Revolution, Sting's last match treatment,
mhm.
I'm all for it, man.
I am too.
I don't want it to
I-
end, but if
No.
he's going to end it, let's have, like, I loved what happened with Sting. And if we're going to get that sort of big celebration and showing of respect and sense of occasion, I'm for it.
Bryan Danielson was one of Tony Khan's best hires as far as the talent is concerned for a number of reasons. Number one, because of his performance, and number two, because he just has great ideas, and he is a great leader, and he's a great leader, and he also knows talent, and he can pick out guys that he thinks are great. Get that pitch? They're doing some great stuff. He can pick out talent. He can pick out guys that he thinks, hey, we need to use them a lot more.
Right.
And so he's so valuable to this company for everything. I'd like to go through here very quickly and say hello to Alex Wheaton, Michael MacIsaac. Of course, Aaron Sheen is here. Coach Rosie is here, as always. Jim in Buffalo has joined us again. Who else we got here? Mr. Epic is here. And I think Lindsay has joined us from Baltimore.
How about it?
Hey,
We got a nice little crowd here hanging out with
Yeah.
us today, watching some great wrestling.
And Bobby, KF5GTX is here as well. Lindsay is here, the brand new bride.
Yes, sir. Roll tide on that.
Yeah, it's kind of early. I hope she's happy and baking away and remembers us next time we come to Baltimore.
Well, who could forget you, Tony?
Yeah, right. So we're really enjoying this match, and this match has been going on for about 15 minutes or so.
Yeah, not counting the ring introductions, probably.
Yeah, and so here's why they're telling such a great story. One of the reasons why they started out just the feeling out process. Look at that, the feeling out process. Very slow in the ring, doing moves, doing holds, and everything. And now, after they've picked it up, they've picked it up, and they're going on the outside. And this shows you how they're telling the story of the match, right?
Yes. This
And I
is a
think
pure
that's great.
wrestling match. So this is not
Right.
supposed to be happening right now. It's
Uh-huh.
under pure rules. But
Right.
Bryan Danielson is leaning into being a mega heel. As a reminder, we're in Liverpool, England,
Right.
and it's a pure wrestling match. So things like rope breaks and all of that really matter. And he's outside choking a guy with a table.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Nigel is the obvious babyface here,
Yes.
and but anyway, telling a good story. So we really appreciate this, and we've got a lot more between these two going on right now. Now they're just slugging it out. Look how Brian sells these forearm shots, mouth agape.
Can you imagine Bryan Danielson in the old territory days?
Yeah, wow.
Like I could totally see him working against Terry Funk or Jack Briscoe, or I could see him cutting a promo on the old JCP set. I could.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And now when Nigel McGuinness talks to Bryan Danielson about Bryan Danielson on Collision, I have a vantage point here. I know what he's talking about. Hell, I thought he was just when he first started this shows you my ignorance and how I was not following wrestling. When when he started talking about Bryan Danielson, calling him clam digger and all that, I thought it was just he was just ripping on somebody. I didn't know that they had a history. But now, boom, I'm in the know.
How about that? What'd you think over the weekend, seeing the Dallas Mavericks finish out the Thunder and Timberwolves finish out the Nuggets and the Pacers finish up the Knicks? Any thoughts on any of that?
No.
Great.
Don't watch the NBA.
Cool.
Don't watch baseball. I couldn't tell you who's in first place. The other week, Taz says, "How about your Braves? The Mets kind of took care of them this week, didn't they?" I said, "I don't know what you're talking about." He said, "Psst, "Of course you don't. You only know it. You only know about them when they win." The Taz, I don't follow baseball at all anymore. I don't. I couldn't tell you the Braves are playing. I don't know because I just don't follow it. Okay, all right. So anyway,
unfortunately,
only thing I can tell you is that from what you said, I know the Nuggets won last year, so they obviously won't repeat.
That
this
is
year.
correct.
Yeah.
The Mavericks are going to be playing the Timberwolves as folks are listening to this tonight, but you don't need to be watching that. You need to be watching AEW Dynamite from Bakersfield. And this Saturday night, damn it, you better not watch the Celtics and the Pacers. You better watch Collision from Las Vegas. It's a go home episode of TV in Las Vegas before the Las Vegas pay-per-view. I don't know why, but AEW in Las Vegas just feels right to me. It feels like a sense of occasion. I mean, that very first AEW show, Double or Nothing, you were there front row. 5 years later, you're back, not only on the air, but in the office. Life comes at you pretty fast, Tony Schiavone.
Yes, it does. That's one thing that you have to realize about life is it changes. It can change quickly, and you just kind of never know. Really never know. And I brought it up here on this podcast before. That night of Double or Nothing on back in May of 2019,
Right?
was a night, if you'll recall, where we had Starcast
Yes, sir.
went on at Caesar's Palace, and you and your cohorts, including, I believe, Mike Dawkins was with us,
Mm-hmm.
said, "We're going to go see wrestling, AEW at the MGM Grand." And I said, "Well, I'm not." And you lied to me and said, "Yes, we'll all sit front row ringside. Your son's going to be there, Matt. He wants to go. I know he wants to sit with you. I'll be there with you. We'll all sit front row ringside, and we'll have a great time." I went, "Okay, I'll go." Of course, you lied to us and did not
Yes.
sit with us at all.
Correct. I didn't go.
You stayed in, you actually went in the back and said hello to a bunch of the guys, and then went out to eat dinner. Your wife.
Yeah, my mom and dad were there. My wife was
Right.
there, and they all
Right.
could not care less about watching wrestling.
Right.
So I went and made an appearance, got fussed at, yelled at, cut promos on, and then said, "I think I'm going to go get a steak. I'm going to get out of here."
Yeah. Who fussed at you?
I'm not going to say on the show.
Okay.
It cause you problems if I reveal.
Okay.
So I will keep it in my back pocket.
Yeah, you can tell me afterwards.
I did in an effort to go say hello to all of the illustrious EVPs.
Okay.
You know, you've seen how they label some of the backstage rooms now. You
Yes.
know, every room has, you know, it's like being backstage in WWE, this direction
Right.
for that and that direction for this and that sort of thing. Well, they were still figuring all that out on the first show, you know, which makes sense. So as I'm opening doors, because they said, "Hey, Cody and the Bucks are over in this room." Okay. So I'm headed over there. I opened the wrong door.
Oh.
When I opened the wrong door, there's a man wearing a mask, pacing back and forth. And I realize, oh, that's John Moxley. And I was not supposed to see this. Let me quietly shut this door and try again to find Cody and get the hell out of here. Because he was very much a surprise. Are you okay? What's going on over there? Are you using a slide whistle in your ass, or what is that?
God, look at this. I think Nigel did that the hard way, didn't he? Because that last blow by Bryan Danielson, Nigel just laid his head right into it. Now, of course, he could have juiced himself first, but this is one of the best matches I've seen in a long time.
And we're not done. We're not even a quarter of the way done. These guys have just a tremendous feud, and as you see, just one crazy spot after another. I mean, he just did his best Rob Van Dam, just launching himself in the crowd.
I kind of wish I would have seen this before I spent an hour talking to them in the locker room on Saturday.
Oh yeah, because you would have had a lot to talk about.
Yeah, sure would have. And we'll have a lot to talk about now. Oh my gosh. Oh, brother. Oh, by the way, if you're watching on video, I do have a new dog here. Well, it's not a new dog, but it's Scout. Got her head hanging over. Scout, sweetheart. Just, there she is. She's beagling it. She now hangs out with me here every time I come sit in the bat cave, she'll come up, sit on Bug's old bed now. Hang out with me, bless her heart. And she is a destructive force.
Oh, really? What's she tearing up?
Oh my God. Anything she fucking wants, man.
Hey, I got to give you a heads up about something that we were talking about off air before you came on. I'm going to give Silva a minute to find it, but I'm thinking about getting Megan a new dog.
Oh.
And I sent him a picture of the dog. And I said, "Hey man, can you Photoshop this dog to have a hat and glasses like the Walter White Heisenberg character from Breaking Bad?"
Right.
Because my wife, as you know, I got those two little girl poodles. Right. They're both white. Well, she wants a full standard size poodle, but a trainer has told us it needs to be a boy personality wise. So we don't have any problems with the girls. Oh, look at Nigel hulking up.
Yeah, man.
Anyway,
let's bring in some of the commentary here, and then we'll get to your dog picture. How about that?
Just, look at these headbutts.
Yeah. They're putting it all on the line. I'm putting Nigel McGuiness delivering.
I think we're good with the commentary now.
Yeah, I think so too.
I love me some Gabe Sapolsky, but let's let Gabe book classics rather than hear Gabe scream classics.
That's Gabe.
Gabe Sapolsky, yeah, the brain trust in this era of Ring of Honor.
Okay. And who's the referee? Do you know who he is?
A big tall goof from England.
That's a big man. Okay, so as Nigel is bleeding and headbutting his ass, and fans are going crazy here in Liverpool.
I'm not gonna say that was a buckshot lariat, but it was like a modified Terry Funk, honky tonk man off the second rope lariat. And by the way, Nigel threw those shits so fast, he tore the biceps, I think, in both arms and just kept going. Can you imagine like tearing your arms from throwing lariats? And you're like, yeah, but that was my left one. I'm going to do it with my right one now. Okay. Well, now that you've torn that one, yeah, still going to do it. Just going to hurt now. Okay. Nigel was the man, dude. This is called cattle mutilation. Are you familiar with this?
I've heard Excalibur talk about it.
Quite a move, is it not?
Yeah. Excalibur knows all the holds. He is, as I've told him many times, he has redefined and set the standard for any announcer now moving forward. Which is good. I appreciate I really do appreciate what he does. And I said, damn, I got to know all the moves now. And you forced me to know all these moves. And sometimes I will know the move and I still won't call it because I'm not confident enough that I know it. There's the old hammer anvil blows. Jesus.
It's wild, isn't it? That's the finish. Referee stoppage. It looked like an old school UFC. I mean, he had the arms crucifixed back and just a series of elbows raining down. Nigel was defenseless, but he didn't quit. He seemingly passes out. The referee says he's had enough. Nigel in a bloody heap. Bryan Danielson, your Ring of Honor champion, the heel, has just defeated the Ring of Honor Pure champion. A match that was held under Pure rules. The name of the show was Unified because it was title versus title. And wouldn't you know it, the damn heel won. The local babyface did not. Bryan Danielson getting a win on his birthday here on What Happened When. What'd you think, Tony? Your first time seeing that match?
It's going to live in my brain for a long, long, long time.
A really
Just
fantastic
great
performance, a classic rivalry, and we're not done. That one went down as Unified August 12th, 2006, and immediately we're jumping over to Ring of Honor Driven. Join us to watch June 9th, 2007. This is for the #1 contendership. This would go down a year later, June 9th, 2007. This is fun stuff, man.
You can tell it's a little bit later because Brian's got a little bit more hair growing up.
Yeah, they're in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania here, no longer in jolly old England. We're in Philly. This was a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Called Driven is the name of the show as they're jumping into it. And I want to give a special shout out to Manscaped. Fellas, blink if you haven't purchased a Father's Day gift yet. Yeah, we thought so. Today's episode is brought to you by Manscaped, the leaders in below the waist grooming. Maybe your pops has had a bush since the 70s. Well, that's okay. Our friends at Manscaped have crafted the total package for his special day. Whether it's for the boys downstairs, his beard, or even the best pair of underwear out there, Manscaped has all of Dad's bases covered. Head on over right now to manscaped.com and get 20% off plus free shipping with the code WHW. From daddy to zaddy, trust Manscaped. Hey, you know that beard trimmer your dad's been using since you were in 2nd grade? Well, it probably needs upgrading, and that's why we think Dad will love the Beard Hedger Pro Kit. It's the complete beard maintenance kit for all of our bearded kings, and the all-in-one kit comes with a beard hedger, Manscaped's most advanced beard trimmer, as well as the shampoo, the conditioner, the oil, and the balm that he needs for his beard. It also comes with a brush, a comb, and scissors, so he can style his beard and mustache like a true gentleman. And how about this? No kit would be complete without the handyman face shaver. It's the smooth finish that we know he loves, and this bad boy is all he needs. It's compact enough to fit in any travel case, so make sure Dad takes it on his next trip. But if he's carrying a lot of body hair, like most dads do, be sure to recommend the Performance Package 5.0 Ultra. I really love this one, and I've given this a lot, and a lot of times people think it's a gag gift, and then they try it, and they love it. But if you're looking for a gift that's going to get everybody's attention, everybody's going to give it a chuckle, then they're really going to love it. Look no further than the Lawnmower 5.0. They also can take care of Dad's nail problem. Yeah, the Shears 3.0. It's a 5-piece precision men's nail grooming kit. It's everything Dad needs to stay on top of that look and feel. Mom doesn't like long fingernails either. How about the professional grade stainless steel tools here? They look cool. They feel substantial in your hand, and they've even got underwear covered for you. The Manscaped Boxers 2.0 have the jewel pouch. It's a dedicated space that cradles your stones with perforated performance fabric, extra believability. That's what Dad needs on his balls. Hey, get 20% off plus free shipping. Use the code WHW at manscaped.com. Seriously, support our sponsors. They help us bring you What Happened When every week. Go take a look and tell me your dad won't chuckle, and then love these products. Get yourself 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. Use our code WHW. Never forget where you came from, if you know what I mean. Happy Father's Day from Manscaped.
And also, I want to also reiterate that the crop preserver
Yep.
and the crop mops, those little wipes,
You love those, dude.
I use them daily. I have used so many throughout the years. I can definitely say of all of our sponsors, and we've had many of them, we love them all. We use all the products, but not as much as I use those on Manscaped.
Man,
So,
seriously, it's not just a
yeah.
gag gift. It will get a
Nope.
great response, but it is an
Yes.
awesome product. We really believe in it. They're day one for us. If you enjoy what Tony and I do, trying to make you laugh, let's give Dad a little love and support our sponsors. Use our promo code WHW at manscaped.com. You'll be glad you did. Hey, let's do some questions as we're seeing them start a heck of a wrestling match here. Got some great groundwork going. Coach Rosie is with us live, a part of our live studio audience from patreon.com/WHW Monday. And Coach says, the Disco Inferno has set up a VIP table for you at Sapphires on Saturday after Collision. Are you going to take them up on the offer?
I am not. I would soon take a baseball bat dripped in Tabasco sauce up my ass as I would go do that.
Now, because Disco's there, or because all these scantily clad ladies with their big boobies and their high heels are going to be trying to talk to you?
I'm not a fan of that.
Of big boobies?
No, I've never been a fan of strip bars.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I get that.
Yeah. It's not that I don't like beautiful women. It's just that it does nothing for me. And number two, because I don't want to be anywhere where Disco Inferno is.
What if Disco wasn't there and all the girls were dressed up like Star Wars characters instead? And it was like just a Star Wars bar.
I might do that.
But they had their boobs out.
No, don't want to see boobs.
Got it. All right.
Yes.
Well, let that be a lesson to you, ladies. Don't show your boobs to Tony Schiavone. Doesn't like that.
Look, here's the mentality here. Why look at something that you can't touch? Okay.
Oh, okay. So you just prefer prostitution. I didn't know we were going to advocate prostitution. My apologies.
I knew you would take that and turn it into something, you cocksucker, you.
Thank you. I know that's what you like, those cocksuckers. So listen, he doesn't want to come see your strip bars, but if you have a table at Cocksuckers Express, table for one, Shivani will be in.
Next fucking question.
Mr. Epic says, if you could pick your ideal match to hang up the headset on, who would be in it? Part 2, if you talk to Eddie Kingston, please send him well wishes from your WHW family. Shout out to Eddie, man, living his New Japan dreams. He, bad timing, that's not ballet, as they say. Yeah. And, he managed to get himself hurt in that New Japan outing. And he was going to be in a huge match, Anarchy in the Arena, this weekend. He's no longer able to compete. Darby Allin came back from a broken foot and getting hit by a bus and thrown off of Mount Everest. And he was at the top of the Empire State Building. Godzilla threw him off through 48 panes of glass. He set himself on fire and he walked into the arena in a pink hoodie last weekend. He's back. Thoughts and prayers with Eddie Kingston. Have you talked to Eddie? How's he doing?
Eddie's okay. He's frustrated, but Eddie's going to be fine. And I have talked to him. I talked to Darby too, like maybe a week before he showed up on our program, maybe 2 weeks. I think a week. I have to go and look at my text, but you're talking about big time kayfabe. I asked him how he was, and he said, I'm fine. He said, tell Tony that I should be ready by Double or Nothing. And if he needs me before then, I can travel. I said, okay. Didn't talk to Tony about him. And then when the night he showed up, Chris Harrington comes to me and he says, hey, is Darby here tonight? I went, no, not that I know of. He said, okay. And I didn't see Darby. They kayfabed it great. And then he runs out and does his thing. And then I walk in the back and I see Harrington. I said, oh, by the way, Darby's here tonight.
You know what was funny? I know you weren't looking at it, but as you said, and then Darby runs out into the ring. Yeah. As you were saying that, Scout did a run in on camera.
Oh,
like as you were describing it. It's pretty awesome
Yeah.
timing there.
There's Scout and Kirby, and they're getting ready to go at it here.
Mr. Epic wanted to know, hey, if you're going to hang the headset up, like if you were going to call one last match, is there one last match? Like, I know you haven't thought about that, but if it was all time and space, not like current roster, because that becomes like, all right, who's going to be there in 5 years or whenever your new deal's up, whatever it is. But I'm just saying, throughout time and space, you were like, you know what? That's the one I want to finish with.
Yeah. I've always said that one person asked me one time, book a dream match for me. The first thing that came to mind was Steamboat against Omega, both in their prime. I think that would be great. Or Steamboat against Danielson. I think that would be tremendous too. I'd like to take somebody from the past and somebody from the current roster. Obviously, you could put Shawn Michaels in there against somebody like that. Shawn Michaels, Steamboat. Now, I'm not putting Flair in there, and it's not a knock on Ric Flair. It's just that I've seen so many Ric Flair matches in my day. It's hard for me to, I think the early Ric Flair, I'm talking about 70s and 80s. Listen, not many, people talk so much about Ric Flair and Ricky Steamboat in the trilogy, but those fans never saw Ric Flair and Ricky Steamboat in the 70s in Jim Crockett Promotions or in the early 80s, because that footage is not out there. But that was some classic matches too. And so, yeah, I think Steamboat and Omega would be a treat to watch.
We're watching Nigel McGuiness just absolutely tear it up here with Bryan Danielson. Coach Rosie wants to know, Tony, does Nigel have a magic show in Vegas this week?
I haven't heard of one, but that does not surprise me that I haven't heard of it. He normally does. He's performed some card tricks for me that completely amaze me. Now, I know with these tricks, there's a gimmick to it. I get it, but it's still amazing when he does it. We were in England last year. He had his magic show, and he did some amazing things. Like he hypnotized Jay Lethal to the point to where Jay Lethal, one of or Nigel's assistants, he was able to lift her up, high above his head like this, and then he hypnotized Jay Lethal to where Jay could not lift the girl up. And Jay was like, I have no idea how that happened. So hopefully he does. But then if I go to it, he'll probably he'll probably bring me in from the audience and try to embarrass me.
Cut you in half or something.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be awesome.
That would be embarrassing. Wouldn't that be embarrassing, wouldn't it?
I would love it if he cut you in half.
I don't know. I don't know. I've never seen his magic shows, so I don't know what all he does. I mean, I saw part of that last year in London, but boy, they love to pop birds, don't they? God almighty.
By the way, in the write-up for this match, one of the reviews, I read this. If you're so inclined, you can put another match or two above this one, and I will not mind. However, the thing that seems undeniable to me is that of all the big prestige wrestling classics, very few feel as close to a textbook definition and answer to the question of what is 2000's Ring of Honor as this. The only ones that do, I can count on one hand that this might be amongst the greatest matches of all time. So we're watching this match from ROH Driven. It's June 9th, 2007. It's available at the Honor Club, ROHWrestling.com. You might be able to find it on YouTube as well. Aaron Sheen wants to know, Tony, what do you think the chances are we do get Nigel versus Danielson at All In? Do you think there's any chance we see Nigel step between the ropes in AEW, Tony?
You know what? I never talked to Tony about that. I know that Nigel would be open to it if that would happen, but I don't know. I really don't know. I'd love to see it now, to be honest with you, after watching these. I would love to see it. So, it's hard for me to say. because I don't book it. And, I know that Nigel has had his health problems, and I know he's bounced back from it. So let's do it. Yeah, let's do it. They've worked so many times together, and they've been able to put matches on like this. Give them freaking 20 minutes and let's go, brother. I have a feeling, we're going to see Saraya.
Yeah.
Hopefully Jamie Hayter is going to be able to come back and wrestle. We're obviously going to see Will Ospreay.
He'll probably be in the title match, I'd guess.
Yeah, I would think that Will Ospreay would be. So I don't know. I don't know what the plan is coming out of Double or Nothing. I don't even know what the plan is going into Forbidden Door. And those are our next two pay-per-views before we get to All In.
Thought for sure we would have seen Davey Boy Smith Jr. last year. We did not, but we have since seen the Dynamite Kid's son, Mr. Billington, in AEW. So hey, I got my fingers crossed for a cool little moment for those guys.
Yeah, his nephew.
Yeah, my apologies. Hey, Derek Zoo says, if Tacoma is Bryan's last full-time match and he gets the Sting treatment, who would you like to see him wrestle? Now that is an interesting question. I don't think it would be Nigel there. I mean, what do you think? Will Ospreay? Bryan Danielson?
He and Will Ospreay have already wrestled, and recently. But
for the last one, who would it be?
I don't know.
Okada?
Okada would be great. Absolutely. If Kenny Omega can come back, it would be Kenny Omega would be great. Seen that before. I don't know, man. That is a great question. That is a great question. No one really thought that Sting's last match would be a tag team with the Bucks. But Sting talked about this when I did the Sting Q&A at WrestleCon for High Spots. They asked Sting, why did you have that for your last match? And he said, because you know how I feel about Darby. And he said, because the Young Bucks are just great guys who approach the business the right way. And I really wanted to work with those guys. And I thought that was a great tribute to the Young Bucks. Sting said it much better than I just did, but I agree with that. I guess there's a little tip of the cap to Ring of Honor that Nigel would be in it, but maybe Will Ospreay would be the one, because they would tear it up.
Well, he's wrestled Will Ospreay once and Ospreay won. He's wrestled Kenny Omega twice. There was a time limit draw and Danielson won one. It'd be interesting to see what they do there. I, for one, hope that if it is his last match, he gets the Sting proper send-off treatment. Aaron Sheen is with us, member of our live studio audience from patreon.com/WHW Monday. And he says, what are the odds of AEW running a show in Australia? WWE has recently with huge success. I kind of assumed that this is something been worked on behind the scenes for a while now, because we saw what the debut of AEW in the UK did last year at Wembley. I would think Australia can't be far down the list.
Yeah, I have a feeling, because we do have clearance in Australia. I think we're on ESPN in Australia. I have a feeling that it's being worked on now. Now, I don't know of anything for sure because I'm not in that loop. I'm more in the talent relations loop. I'm not in the loop as far as venues are concerned. I know we have a very good staff right now that's working on venues. So
I can confirm I heard it was discussed like 8 or 9 months ago. So it's at least been on the radar for a while. I don't know. I'm like you. I don't think that there's anything about to be announced, but
right. Okay. We'll see.
There's an effort there.
Yeah. And it wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me that we go somewhere else in Europe,
right?
Besides England. I wouldn't be surprised to go to Germany, or obviously they did WWE did very well in France. So let's see what happens.
Bryant has a great question. He says, to me as an ROH fan, Bryan versus Nigel was the next epic rivalry here. Do you think companies need these type of epic rivalries, or do stars matter more for companies? That's interesting. Do you think that just an individual star and getting and establishing him over is most important, like a Hulk Hogan, or do you need those classic rivalries? I guess, said differently, do we want like the Celtics versus the Lakers? Is that better for the NBA? Or do we really want a Michael Jordan? Just one guy and he's taking on all comers. What do you think of that? Do you have a preference one way or another?
I don't have a preference. I think you need both. And you obviously need stars. You can have epic rivalries, but if nobody's a star, what does it matter? But epic rivalries make stars, right?
Yeah.
And so I think you need both. I really do. I don't know. Have we established an epic rivalry in AEW yet? I don't think we have we?
Yeah. I mean, I felt like you had some, I mean, you don't think Hangman
And Swerve?
qualifies as that? I mean, they really
Yeah.
turned the volume up, and
Yeah, probably so.
gotta
The
be some
fans just,
others.
the fans just want to see again. These two guys are just absolutely,
Yeah.
that they have worked together so much and know each other, and they're doing a lot more. They're doing a lot more high risk maneuvers in this one we saw in the last one, aren't they?
Yes.
As far as off the top and like things like this.
We're seeing some other, things suggested, Britt and Thunder,
Mm,
Hangman and Swerve.
yeah.
There's been some interesting ones. I mean,
Yep.
Cody and MJF for a bit.
Yep.
Here's another question. Boy, this got everybody talking last week. I can't believe we're an hour into the show and we haven't brought it up. Coach wants to know, what was the flavor that Jack Perry poured on your head? P.S. F Jack Perry. It looked like it was Pop's mushroom energy drink, Woo Energy. What was the flavor, and do you want to talk about that circumstance or situation?
I think it was Dragonberry,
Yeah.
and there's nothing to me any worse than having something dumped onto your head that has mushrooms in it. Because I don't know about you guys, and I'm not knocking Woo Energy at all here, but fuck a fucking mushroom. Don't put it on my salad. Don't give me a stuffed mushroom. Don't saute them. Don't fry them. Don't give a shit about mushrooms. When I was growing up, my parents loved them. My parents went mushroom hunting. Have you ever gone mushroom hunting?
Nope. Can't say that I did.
Okay. Apparently, there's a type of mushroom that you can eat, and you got to know what it is.
Yeah.
But fuck that. But anyway, it was kind of sticky, and I just got a towel and dried off and went about my business. Dried off my face.
Why you wear darks, kid?
Yeah, and to be very honest with you, it soaked through to my underwear, so I sat there the rest of the night with wet underwear on.
Oh, you didn't get any chafing down on your nether regions, did you?
No, why? Because I use Manscaped.
Oh, use that promo code WHW. It'll even clear up mushroom energy drinks from between your cracks and crevices.
Yeah.
Real talk. Did you know that was coming?
Yeah.
Okay. Because my phone lit up with people who were offended on your behalf, and I'm like, guys, it's pro wrestling. Why don't you calm the fuck down?
Exactly.
But I mean, I had people who were like, I'm going to go to his house, and I'm like, hey man, I just let you go there for a little bit, but I just want to remind you, it's entertainment.
Yeah.
How do you know it wasn't Tony's idea? Well, did you ask him? No, because I'm not a fucking, come on now, be a grown up. They're getting the heat on a beloved figure and character here. Goodness gracious.
Yeah.
But it's got to make you feel good that people came to your defense so big on that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It does. A couple of things. I never thought I would go back into wrestling, as you know.
Yeah.
And then when I came back, I never thought I would get the response that I get on a regular basis. It's truly is. It absolutely amazes me. And not only that, I don't know if you saw on social media, my daughter posted it. Someone the other night had a bug, RIP bug poster. He was standing outside as we all went out. And I took a picture of it and signed the autograph. It just amazes me that fans remember my greatest buddy of all time, and let me show me how much they appreciate me and him through all these years. So, yeah, the fan response that I get and the fans coming in my defense really, really mean a lot. And listen, I try to. I don't know. I don't always get to do this, but I try to sign autographs and take pictures of fans with fans as I'm leaving the ringside area going around. As a matter of fact, I'm trying to think of where this happened. It wasn't in Portland. I don't know if it was in Everett or maybe the week before, as we just got, I guess this was cattle mutilation, right? Again.
Yep.
And Bryan Danielson all bloody. They asked for the bell, and Danielson gets his hand raised again. So anyway, I can't remember what it was, but I took my time after I took off the headset to stand there and sign autographs and take pictures, to the point to where one guy was really obnoxious about breaking through the line to see me. And then he and another fan got into a shoving match. And I stepped back and went, geez. So one of our security guards stepped in and stopped the fight. And I'm thinking, man, if you're fighting for my autograph, wow. I mean, it's not like I'm, Lady Gaga or Taylor Swift or.
You're our Lady Gaga, you motherfucker, you.
But, but anyway, so yeah, I really appreciate the fans and their respect they've shown me and my work. So are we going to see Nigel go over in any of these matches, you think, or is he going to always do the job to Bryan?
Well, see, that's the story they're telling here. You see, that try as he might, Nigel can win all these world titles and have all this success, but the one thing he can't do is beat Bryan Danielson. And it's like you've seen in a lot of fights, like it was around this era, maybe the following year, that Chael Sonnen really shocked the world. And Anderson Silva, who not only never lost a round, never lost a minute of a fight. I mean, at least in the UFC, he was just mowing through dudes. And then somehow, some way, Chael Sonnen dominated him, but he lost with the same submission move. I think it was the rear naked choke. It happened all the time. And he had he went to like a sports therapist, just trying to, hey, why can't I beat this guy? And that happens in professional wrestling too. It's happening here with Bryan Danielson and Nigel McGuinness. We're going to skip on over to Ring of Honor's 6th anniversary show. This went down on February 23rd, 2008. That's February 23rd, 2008. As we see Bobby Cruz making an introduction here.
For 6 whole years.
So Danielson, of course, has been there the entire time in Ring of Honor. He's thrilled to be here on this anniversary show. And once again, his opponent, Nigel McGuinness. But this time, Nigel's the top dog. In the first match that we watched back in 2006, Danielson was the world champ and McGuinness was the pure champ. We just watched a number 1 contendership match that Bryan wins, but Nigel is the Ring of Honor champion here. Let's hear how Bobby Cruz introduces him.
And the new best wrestler in the world. Weighing 242 pounds, he is the Ring of Honor World Champion, Nigel McGuinness.
So here we go, man. Another incredible match. We've seen 2 back-to-back classics. I think number 3 is on the way here, Tony.
How about this? We've got a young Bobby Cruz, got a young Paul Turner as referee here.
Yep.
And Bryan Danielson's hair continues to grow out. And Nigel McGuinness still has the frosted tips. So this is great, man. This, for me to be able to sit back and watch this, it's just absolutely wonderful because of the guys that I know now.
We're at the Manhattan Center in New York City.
Right.
They're going to go 30 minutes and 5 seconds here for the world title.
Wow.
What do you think of the ring canvas here? We got black ropes, we got red turnbuckles, we've got a mostly black mat with a red border all the way around each side.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of this look? I know you don't normally like darker canvases, but this is a interesting design.
I think it's pretty unique and it looks really cool. But again, you're right. I'm not into these dark canvases at all. I think it darkens the arena. I think a lighter canvas, like a light blue or almost a white, would have made it pop a little bit better. And I don't know. Yeah, I like the way lighter canvases make the arena pop.
Yeah. You like saying pop like that? Is that your thing?
Pop. That's not my thing.
No, it could be cool though. I do like the way you bring that P hard. I mean, everybody knows you bring that P hard.
Yeah, boy. Older you get to.
Speaking of P, there was a fun meme that popped up after you were assaulted last week by Jack Perry.
Yeah.
On social media. I don't know if you had a chance to take a look at that, but here it is at WHWMonday.com. Top Dollar quote tweeted where Matt Coon, friend of the show, says, caption this. And Top Dollar says, when you unlock the button, she ain't know she had. There you are. Getting covered.
Who is this?
You don't know about Top Dollar?
No, who's this Matt Coon guy?
He did our theme song back in the day. It was really fun.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Oh, he did?
We didn't start the fire.
Oh, that's who he is.
Yeah. Well, I like when you're just in a hateful, spiteful mood. Let me show you this fucking dog. I'm thinking about getting Megan. See what you think.
Yeah, let's see this.
So
we've
been rewatching Breaking Bad, and I saw this because here's the thing: I'm looking for a white, standard size poodle puppy that's a boy, because the trainer said they want it to be a boy, and the wife said it needs to be a full size standard, and she's got the little poodle, so she wants a big one, and she wants a boy. And she wants it to be white like the other 2 dogs. I don't really know why. I don't understand all these things. But as I narrowed the request down, I could only find 2 in the United States. And one happens to be in Pensacola, where she is right now and where I'm headed tomorrow. Okay. So I thought this might be a sign. So you're going to be the deciding voice here, Tony. What do you think of this rascal? Should I adopt him? Thinking about naming him Walter White. He's the one who knocks. What do you think?
Yeah. I think he's pretty cool looking. Like the big paws. I think he's going to be fine. I'm not so sure. Is this a rescue? It's a rescue, right?
No.
No?
No,
you need to get a rescue.
I like that idea too, but buddy, I can't find that. I've not been able to find a white standard size boy poodle.
Well, keep looking, dude.
That's why I'm here. You're the dog expert.
Okay. Keep looking. Have you ever, there's an app called Pet Finder. Do you ever go on to that?
Okay. Let me look that up. All right. I'm on it.
Okay, you can look for the breed that you want, and one closest to your area. your zip code in, and you can scroll through it. And you can do a radius within 100 miles of where you are in Gunnersville. And all these rescue dogs pop up.
Hey, dude, you turned me on to something here. This is awesome.
Yeah. There's millions of dogs out there that need a home.
No, I'm for that, dude.
Yeah. So it's Pet Finder. There's an app for it too. So, but anyway, it's a cute dog. And if that dog needs a home, fine. But rescue dogs are dogs that, were pulled out of terrible situations, or we're going to be put down because the shelters are full. And right behind me to my right are 2 rescue dogs. There you see poor old Kirby laying out. Kirby was found running around in the woods in Alabama. And we brought her in, and she's one of the greatest dogs ever. Scout, they were going to put Scout down, and we brought her into the house, and she has delightfully made Lois's life absolutely miserable because Scout just doesn't give a fuck. She goes outside, she gets her feet muddy, she comes in and she jumps right up on Lois. You got me dirty, you got me muddy, Scout, get down. God damn it, Scout, get down. It's delightful to hear that from afar. So, yeah, rescue's the way to go. So go to Pet Finder, that's the way.
I'm on it right now. I'm looking at these rascals.
Yeah, you can find one there. And if you can even extend your radius if you want to go further,
Yeah, I went from 100 miles to anywhere. So
Right.
see what we can work out. What do you think about naming the dog Walter, though, like Walter White? I think that's a great name.
I think it's a great name. Absolutely, I do.
Yeah.
Good job. Meanwhile, Nigel McGuiness
is tearing it up, boy.
I have a newfound respect for Nigel. I really do.
Yeah, because you never really got to see his in-ring stuff.
No, never. Well, one time I did. Remember that crazy 6-man we did, where it was a comedic 6-man, and even Bryce Remsburg slammed the guy. CM Punk was involved in it. CM Punk, Nigel, and somebody else. And it was just a comedic. You remember that match?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I saw that, but Nigel was kind of like, wasn't in singles competition. But man, a newfound respect. I've always respected Bryan Danielson, as all of us do. I'm telling you right now, if you don't like Bryan Danielson, either one of 2 things. Number 1, you just don't really like pro wrestling. Or number 2, you're just a miserable fuck that needs to reevaluate your life. Because he is one of the greats in so many ways, as far as knowledge of the business, being able to work a match, being able to make people, and just being a guy that knows what's going on. And I've known that. Didn't know that much about Nigel as a performer, but man, I can't get over how big Nigel is. I mean, just look, he's big and strong, and of course, Paul Turner is God. I think that's one thing that we've got going for us in AEW. We've got great referees.
Oh yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, we do. Great referees.
I know that they've been, a lot of people have been critical of the referee crew over there. And I understand that, maybe there has been a bad actor here or there, but you've got a really bunch of hardworking people who do great jobs. Exactly. And it's unfair to paint with such a broad brush where you're like, oh yeah, all the AEW referees are terrible. When really, more specifically, you don't like 1 or 2. Mm-hmm. And I'm not even picking on anybody in particular. I just see people say that all the time. Like, oh, the referees in AEW are terrible. And when I say, hey, name the bad actors, they never get past 2 names. And I'm not trying to pick on anybody. I'm just saying there's a lot of other people there that you're just lumping in unfairly because you don't, for whatever reason, like a person or 2. So I'm glad you said that because I totally agree with you. And I think there's some good referees who don't get their just desserts. I mean, there's there's a couple in particular, and I know we're not naming anybody, who I think are terrific, and nobody ever says anything about that. I just think that's unfair.
Yeah, well, basically, people on social media suck anyway. So,
Well, we know how you feel about that. That's for sure. Let's do
Okay.
some questions. We got some fun ones here.
Nigel's walking out here. He headbutted the referee. All right, and he got the microphone and is leaving.
Let's
and
take a
now
listen.
he's
being
yeah.
accosted here.
And put everything on the line so you can disrespect a belt like that. So we're going to give you an ultimatum. You get back in that ring, defend that belt with honor, or you got to get through all of us.
Is that Matt Jackson?
Aries and Strong standing side by side. That's how much the ROH World Title
No, that's Austin
means to the
Aries.
locker room.
Yeah, and Kevin Steen.
Okay. Or Kevin Owens, as we know him now.
Yeah. Doing a little story here, not letting him walk out.
Right. He had headbutted Paul Turner, who's still out on the apron.
Jim in Buffalo wants to know who's going to win the Stanley Cup, Tony.
It is probably going to be the I don't give a fuck team.
Oh, I've heard they're on a roll this year.
Yeah, who's still in it? I know the Rangers are still in it, right? Who? I don't even know. Let me look here. I'll look on my ESPN.
Well, as we're
app.
recording tonight, it's the Oilers and the Canucks in Game 7.
Oh, wow.
The Stars just beat the Avalanche.
Okay. And who else is in the East? There's got to be one other team is the Bruins? Is it the Boston Bruins maybe? Choked last year. To be honest, I guess because I was in Canada, I kind of care more about the NHL now, and I really don't care about that. But I had been, because I knew the Rangers are still in it. I kind of was following the NHL a little bit more than I was the NBA.
Man, fuck you forever for that. We're going to take your American card away.
Yeah.
Bryant wants to know, are you ready for Waterloo? Of course, you're going into the TNT Hall of Fame in just a couple of months. I can't believe this is real. You're the recipient of the Gordon Soley Award. You looking forward to Waterloo?
Yes, I am. I'm trying to figure out what members of my family I'm going to get out there to be a part of it. And it's a very, very special honor for me. I'm looking forward to it.
Coach Rosie, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm excited about it. And as you know, I'm not necessarily too cool about rings, being named Hall of Fame. So there you go.
Hey, if they can put me in that son of a bitch, they can put Tony Schiavone in.
I guess.
Yeah. Michael says, are you excited to come back to Calgary for the Stampede? That's become a regular thing for AEW now. What do you think of that?
Yes, I am. I was in Calgary recently when we worked Edmonton.
Yeah.
I really didn't find a flight to my liking direct or going to Edmonton. So I flew to Calgary and stayed at the Marriott at the hotel there, Marriott at the airport, which was great. And I drove from Calgary to Edmonton and back, 3 hours, 3-hour drive. And I had one of my best times of the year in Calgary last year when a group of us went to the Hitman Bar inside the casino, which is right near the Stampede Fairgrounds. And then we walked through downtown Calgary where, they had a lot of vendors along the side because of the Stampede. Had a great time there last year. I'm looking forward to going back. Absolutely. Calgary and it got a great airport. I think Calgary is one of my favorite cities in Canada because of a number of things, because of the airport. It's a great airport, easy to get through. Unlike the worst airport in the entire world, Toronto's airport. Why anyone would fly through Toronto on purpose is beyond me. I will never fly through Toronto again, ever. But Calgary's airport is great city, a lot of fun, nice people, and I look forward to being back.
Aaron Sheen says, if Omega versus Okada happens at All In, should that be the main event? What should close the show? I would think it's going to be something with Ospreay, but I could be wrong on that.
Yeah, I think probably it would be Ospreay versus Okada. Wouldn't that close the show
I don't know.
for the Continental Championship? I don't know. I don't know who is going to be. I don't know who they're going to bring over from New Japan.
You got to think
be in there.
MJF is going to be figured in if he's back.
Oh, Christ.
I'm not looking forward to that either. What a terrible human
No.
being.
Thanks for ruining my fucking day.
Sorry about that. Aaron Sheen says, does Tony miss doing commentary with JR full time?
Oh yeah, I do. JR and I have a great rapport, great time together. And it reminds me of the old days of he and I doing commentary together, early 90s, late 80s. Absolutely, I do.
It's so awesome to hear too, how much, he enjoys working with you. I mean, he's worked tirelessly to get you the Jim Ross Award at the Cauliflower Alley reunion. And I just think it's so cool that you're getting the Gordon Soley Award and the Jim Ross Award. Man, you're just racking up awards. It's a big year. All of a sudden, everything's coming up Schiavone.
Well, you know what? I'm knocking on death's door, and I'm in my final years of being able to perform. Somebody very important told me, not in our company, and told me that that you can perform at a high level as an announcer up until you're about 80 years old. And I went, okay. But I guess I look a lot younger than I really am. However, there's another thing that's out there that's going to change that is really going to change sports announcing, and that is AI.
Yeah.
Is going to change it. So we used little AI earlier today.
Really?
Yeah.
When?
The Joe Biden thing was AI.
Wait. I thought you were personal friends of his. Are you?
Well, I am, but he didn't want to show up because he was afraid Lois would be here.
Oh, I got you.
So I used AI, and I've got some more AIs coming up too for our countdown. I used to have a friend, and this is where I know that AI is going to take over. I used to have a friend who did voices for me. It's great, talented. And I used to pay him to do it. But don't need to pay him to do it anymore because I've got an app. You see, AI is taking over announcing.
You see.
See?
Let's do another one here. This is from Alex Wheaton. What's your favorite kind of cheese to put on a cheese hamburger? I think they call them a cheeseburger, Alex, but we'll go with that. What kind of cheese do you put on a cheese hamburger?
Well, of course, the go-to would be American cheese, but Alex, two things. I never liked cheeseburgers. Always got my hamburger without cheese, number one. And I haven't eaten a hamburger in over 2 years. So I eat Boca burgers now.
What the fuck's a Boca burger?
It is a veggie burger.
Man, fuck this.
This. You don't. Yeah, have you tried a Boca burger?
Tony Conrad's left the show.
What, did Conrad have to take a shit?
No, he's just offended by your Boca burger.
Okay. That's because he hasn't tried a Boca burger. Okay. Son of a bitch hasn't tried a Boca burger. Get back on here, you son of a bitch. Okay. Oh, there goes Nigel McGuiness into the stands. And the fans love it. They're clapping. Hey, I'm involved in the match.
A fucking Boca burger.
Okay, come over. Wait a minute. The fans are moving out of the way. That one fan wants to get involved. I hope he does. I hope he gets hit in the face.
You need to get fucking hit in the face.
This is look at Danielson. This is God Almighty.
A Boca Burger.
Did you look up Boca Burgers?
Man, I'm gonna have my man card fucking removed for even Googling that fucking happy horse shit.
Okay, so there's a thing called an All-American Burger, and I take that, I put it on a keto bun with onions and mustard. Can't tell the difference from a hamburger.
Well, then why not just eat the fucking hamburger? You can't tell the difference
because it's not. I've taken red meat out of my diet.
But you drink fucking energy drinks like it's going out of style. So much so you pour them on your head.
But that doesn't have any red meat in them.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay.
Aaron Sheen wants to know, pineapple on pizza, yes or no, Tony?
Well, back when I ate pizza, yes, I'm for it because pineapple is like probably my favorite fruit. If you don't like pineapple on pizza, I don't think you've tried it yet. You like pineapple on pizza, Conrad?
Fuck no. No, my nothing happening kid Morgan, she loves it, and she tried to order a pizza. Well, actually, she didn't order it. We made pizza here, and she made pizza, and she made sure to cover the pepperoni or use meats. I guess there were slices of ham to cover up the pineapple. And she goes, "Hey," she calls me her bonus dad. Dad, I made you a pizza in our new pizza oven. And I was like, "Oh, cool." So I go take a look at it and I go, "So this one's yours." And she goes, "You don't like ham?" And I go, "There's pineapple under the ham." She goes, "Why would you say that?" And I go, "If I peel this ham back, is there a piece of pineapple underneath?" She goes, "Why are you saying that?" And I'm like, "So you're not denying it." And sure enough, it looked like a ham pizza, but I knew those were ham coveralls, pineapples.
So you've never tried pizza, pineapple?
I had one sip of coffee when I was younger.
Yeah.
That was it. I never tried it again. Figured out I didn't like it. I had one bite of fruit on a pizza.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't like it.
Okay.
On to the next one.
Not adventurous at all. Hey, I want to say hello to Coach Keith Morrison and Denovius Mack, who have joined us. I don't think we said hello to them earlier when we ran down everybody who was with us.
Fuck Coach Keith.
That's
no, serious business. He's got a great question. I know you don't want the NBA, but what do you think about WB Discovery losing the NBA? It's been a part of Turner for over 30 years, or could you just care less? Now, you can't say that you don't care about that one, Tony, because man, inside the NBA, what a classic show that's been. Kenny and Ernie and Charles and Shaq. I mean, it's one of the all-time great sports shows, and now seemingly coming to a close. I hope they can put the band back together somewhere else, but I don't know if that's even possible. It is going to be hard to imagine the NBA not on TBS or TNT.
I know and again, I think, on a personal note, I think Ernie even gave me a
shout out.
Mention.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and I've known Ernie for a long, long time. And, he's battled through some health problems and has done very, very well. I listen, it is the most entertaining, pre-game, post-game, during game show of any sport. And yeah, I do care about that. I hope they stay. I really do. Ryan Purvis said pineapple belongs on a pizza. Thanks for saying that. But yeah, I hope we get to see them together again.
Oh, me too, man.
Hey, so Nigel's bleeding again here. Nigel and Danielson have done a great job of bleeding. 1, 2.
Yeah, there's been blood in every match so far that we've seen.
Is Nigel going to win any of these matches? This is our third one.
Do you want me to give you a spoiler?
Yeah.
He's going to win this one.
Oh, good.
What do you think about that rebound lariat?
That was actually pretty cool.
It looks very Terry Funk, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Meltzer, not Meltzer, but the review here says one of the better chunks of real ass pro wrestling in ROH history. Just a really fun match here. And we're going to get one more. The next one, by the way, if you're wanting to just plan ahead, is rising above 08, November 22nd, 2008. Once again, the ROH world title on the line.
Little inside baseball here.
Yeah, we love inside baseball.
Okay. I sent a text to Nigel.
Yeah.
Last night to let him know I was going to be watching these matches.
And
His response was, if I can't say it in his voice, but I can hear his voice saying it. If you idolized me before, ...
I love that. Look at this submission move. Doesn't this have the air of believability? And look at how simple in theory it is. I mean, Nigel is just seated on Danielson's butt and Danielson is on his stomach and Nigel's just got that arm bent back, just stretching, and Danielson nearly tapping before the rope break happens. Right back to it. That's what's fun is, sometimes in wrestling, you're asked to sort of, is everything okay on your end?
Me?
Yeah. Just getting lots of dings and buzzes and horns and whistles.
Well, you know what? I don't hear it. And there was somebody that says, what's going on? I've got everything turned down here now, with the exception of,
turned down for what?
You said you keep hearing dings and buzzes, right?
Turned down for what?
Okay, got it. So I don't know.
Fire up that loud. Another round of shots.
Okay. Anthony D has joined us.
Oh, I was wondering if he was ever going to show up.
Yeah, fucker. A pineapple belongs on pizza from pizza chains, not from around the corner place.
It belongs up your ass. Don't fucking come in here supporting that horse shit. I will leave again.
Right.
Bryant wants to know. Go ahead.
Someone said on the line here that, what the fuck's all those dings about? I'm not hearing them. Are you hearing them?
Yeah, we're here. We're all hearing, everyone but you.
Okay. So any dings? What happened? Yeah. She doesn't hear any dings and she's got a good ears.
Yeah.
So apparently
you're Ding Dong Jones today. And
okay.
That's what's going on.
Okay.
You're Ding Dong.
Well,
Jones.
I'm sorry. I'm really sorry.
No, it's okay. We love your Ding Dong.
No, I don't like it. I think it fucks up our broadcast.
I think you're taking.
I like to have a good, clean, solid, professional broadcast.
When have we ever been clean or professional?
Well, okay. But here we've got a bunch of dings from our fucking producer, Dave Silva, that I'm getting blamed for.
He's muted.
Okay. He may be muted, but his computer's still with us.
Let me just tell you this. He and I record a podcast on every day that ends in Y together. Yeah. We only hear the noises when we record with you.
Well, I wonder why that is.
So my Gunnersville math says that you need to get your fucking shit together.
There it is. Gunnersville. You're trying to tell me Gunnersville has better internet?
I'm in Huntsville, you nothing happening son of a bitch. This is the same house. I haven't moved my studio yet.
Okay.
I got up at the crack of shit this morning. It's still dark outside. So I could get up here and get ready for you. I got my nothing happening AV guy moving my shit tomorrow when I'm not here. So that won't work. That'll look like shit.
Dave, before this thing airs, you have to go through this entire show and mute the fucking beeps.
No problem.
I'm not. I heard those.
Yeah, you were pressing the buttons on those, you some bitch.
Nope, I was not pressing.
All right, then make it happen again and hold your hands up. Oh, let me see both your hands. Put your hands where my eyes can see. Now let's hear the beeps. Let's hear them dollar signs. Let's hear them cash registers. Exactly. Because you're a fucking button pusher. You're a known button pusher. You're a button pusher from way back. Taz was right about you. Bryant wants to know, what would you rather have? A leisure tour bus of your own to take you to all the shows or to continue to fly everywhere? Now that is interesting. What would you think about having a Schiavone bus?
I don't want a Schiavone bus. Now, here's two things. I don't mind going through the airport. You get a lot of perks. And number two, when I go somewhere, I want to drive.
Oh, I know that about you.
Yeah, I love to drive. Love it. That's why I don't mind it.
Are you driving to
Going 3
Waterloo
hours.
or are you flying?
What's the closest airport to Waterloo?
Des Moines, maybe?
Des Moines, okay. I'll probably fly to Des Moines and drive over, unless Waterloo is. I know. I'd rather fly direct. So no, I don't want a bus. No, I think a bus is kind of over the top. I'm a star type thing, and I don't perceive myself as one of those. So no bus. But thanks, Bryant.
I think I'm going to drive it this year.
Really?
Yeah, because I got to do connections no matter what.
Yeah.
So it'll be like Huntsville to Atlanta to somewhere else. And then you still got to drive when you get there. It's like, I think I'm just going to drive this year. Coach Rosie wants to know, what will happen first? Tony going to a strip club with Disco Inferno or Conrad eating a Boca Burger? Well, I'm pretty sure I'd have to eat a Boca Burger first because it seems like you'd rather die than go to a strip club or spend time with Disco Inferno.
Absolutely. I mean, why would anyone in their right mind, unless they pay to get into a place, spend any time with Disco Inferno?
Well, I didn't spend any time with him, but he did show me to my table back when I went for a Super Bowl. I watched the Super Bowl there, the one where the Patriots beat the Seahawks at the end. I got to see that one, and I had a pretty fantastic time there that day. I'll be honest.
Is he married? Disco Inferno?
I don't believe so. No.
Yeah. See, even a woman wouldn't get next to him. Nigel, hit 2 ropes that time and came off with a lariat. Holy smokes. And now this is the way Danielson beat him the first time, right?
Yeah.
Danielson beat him with these hammer and anvil blows, as Excalibur would say. And Nigel now laying it in. And this may be the end of the match here. Yep, Danielson's going out. He's out. There it is.
There it is.
Here is your winner and still Ring of Honor World Champion, Nigel McGuiness.
Did he fool us all? Well, we want to thank you for 6 great years of ROH action. I don't know what's going on here. Hopefully we'll find out soon, but we've got a big 7th year ahead here in Ring of Honor.
Shout out to Prazak, and we're jumping right into our 4th match, Rising Above 08. It's November 22nd, 2008. And boy, this is a big one. This one is at the Frontier Fieldhouse in Chicago Ridge, Illinois. And look at this hero's welcome for Danielson.
What are they chanting?
Best in the world, best in the world, best in the world. Pretty special to see these series of matches together. I'm glad we got to introduce them to you together. Of course, you can see even more great Nigel McGuiness and Bryan Danielson stuff as a part of Honor Club. It's all available now at ROHwrestling.com. Some of the best matches you never saw from some of your favorite performers before they became mainstream, including this one. Is it just me, or does the look and style and presentation even feel differently here in Chicago than it did on some of the others?
Well, first of all, there's a lot more fans, and second of all, it seems to be lit a lot better. So, yeah, this seems more like a mainstream,
Yeah.
Than the other matches. Look at this; even got a fucking nice crane shot there. it just seems more mainstream than the other matches seem like small venues, really independent type outlaw stuff.
Well, the first time that we would see, these two guys in singles action was way back in 06, and Nigel won by count out, but we just saw his first real victory, and that was in 2008. Pretty special show that we just watched there, the 6th anniversary show. They do a rematch over in Deutschland in 2008 for WXW. Danielson would win that one. They'd be in some tag affairs. They hooked it up in Tokyo for ROH Battle of the Best. Danielson would win that one. There was a 3-way on the independents in UK that Nigel would win, with Austin Aries being the third man in the ring. And then we would hook it up 2 more times in singles matches. This is the next to last match they had. This is the Frontier Fieldhouse for the Ring of Honor World title. Nigel is still the champ, ROH rising above. And the final countdown, September of 2009 at the Manhattan Center, Bryan Danielson and Nigel would hook it up one last time. Maybe we'll watch that some other time. Maybe this September for the 15-year anniversary. God, where does the time go where 2009 was 15 years ago?
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
2009 is when I started with Georgia basketball and when I started doing Gwinnett Braves, or now Stripers baseball. So yeah, 15 years. Holy shit. The way it is, man, the older you get, faster time goes. You can see it just, this has a different look, but this camera shot even shows it right now. Straight through, and the fans kind of teared up. That's not TEAR, TIER. So this is near Chicago, or in Chicago?
Yep. Chicago Ridge.
Okay.
Frontier Fieldhouse.
We, when I was in MLW, we ran Cicero a couple of times, and that was pretty cool. And that's pretty cool. Nigel adjusted his knee pads before he fell on his face. Oh, I'm out. I'm getting ready to fall face first, but let me adjust my knee pad.
Just in case.
Just in case. Oh.
What a great rivalry these guys have had. Maybe you feel like you've been in a rivalry with some credit cards. Hey, I can help with that at savewithconrad.com. You don't need perfect credit or money out of your pocket, but if you're looking to save some money, boy, I'm looking to help. Check it out right now at savewithconrad.com. And hey, don't take my word for it. We've got an A+ rating with the BBB. We've been voted the #1 best in business and received the Seal of Satisfaction Award. And we've got thousands of reviews. Our average review is 4.73 stars. Go read them for yourself at conradreviews.com, including this one from Sean, who says Diane was readily available and very quick to respond to every email. If she didn't have an answer, she'd find out and get back to us quickly. A pleasure to work with. Here's another 5-star review. Diane was very kind and responsive. Well, that's the same one. The portal's we got the same review almost word for word. How about that? From Athens, Alabama to Ashton, PA, everybody loves our service. But check out what Jason E had to say. Another 5-star review. This is one of the best decisions I've made in a long time. Not only was I able to save around $1,500 a month, I got to experience the best team in the business. Each interaction with Larry and the team was an absolute great experience. I can't thank them enough for all they've done for me and my family. Also, thanks to Francis for all the laughs and your hard work. If anyone is even considering a mortgage or looking to eliminate debt, this is the place to go. You will not be disappointed. Jason E was a listener to our wrestling podcast, just like you are. And he owed some money, y'all. And if you do too, whether that's with a second mortgage, a home equity line of credit, a 30-year loan, or even worse, credit card payments, car loans, a boat loan, maybe you just have a small personal loan, man, get rid of all that. Hit the reset button. Get a better rate, get a lower monthly payment, and even skip your next 2 house payments. It's free to find out how much money you can save right now And at savewithconrad.com, we want to be your mortgage advisor for life. So we don't say no. We say not yet, but here's how. Maybe you have questions about how do I buy a house? How much down payment do I need? We want to help you answer all those questions, and that costs you nothing. Our advice is free. There's no application fee. There's no credit report fee. If we can't find a way to save you some money, we won't waste your time. Get started right now at savewithconrad.com. Give me a call toll free at 888-425-0105 or send me an email, conrad@savewithconrad.com. Jason E was just like you. He had some debt and he listened to these podcasts. He took a flyer on me and he's saving $1,500 a month, each and every month. Find out how much money you can save right now for free. savewithconrad.com. NMLS number 32416, equal housing lender. savewithconrad.com. Man, how about it? We're seeing yet another barn burner. What we've got here is a series of matches that were given proper time. This one's going to go 28 minutes and 8 seconds. The match we just saw went 30 minutes and 5 seconds. The other two matches were about 24 minutes and 28 minutes. Is there a sweet spot, you think, to a great quote unquote 5-star wrestling match, Tony? I mean, I know that we've seen awesome Goldberg moments that were 60 seconds, like a Mike Tyson match. And we've seen great Ric Flair hour-long classics, but it does feel like, hey, between 20 and 30 minutes is what all of these have been. And they've been fantastic. Do you think there's a sweet spot?
As far as time is concerned?
Yes.
Time of match. Yeah. I think the sweet spot is 30 minutes. And again, it's got to be 30 minutes with two guys or gals who can go 30 minutes. But what we have been seeing is these matches start out slow and then pick up the intensity, and you get right to the midpoint and someone starts to sell a lot. And then that person makes a comeback, and then the other person starts to come back. And for the last 5 to 7 minutes or so, it's going back and forth and you don't know who's going to win. So I think 30 minutes is about to do. You can tell a lot of times if you watch a wrestling match, I know most of you know this, if two guys or gals have a lot of time, like, let's say they got 45 minutes or 30 to 45 minutes, or even 45 minutes to an hour, you can tell that they're going to go a long time when they do a lot of stalling on the outside at the beginning. Even back in the Ric Flair days, when Ric Flair had a 60-minute match, they wouldn't go at it for 60 minutes, Rick was so good at being able to draw out a match. And, we talk so much about greatest wrestlers of all time. And I know Bryan Danielson comes into that conversation. Shawn Michaels comes in that conversation. Ricky Steamboat and Ric Flair. But if you think about being able to lay out a match, Ric Flair was the master at that. And I say that because now in this era today, and me even back, I love that sledgehammer blow by Nigel. That puts Bryan back on the mat and the turnbuckle and ties him up. In today's wrestling, both wrestlers call the match, right? They both know what they're going to do, but they also communicate with each other. Back in Ric Flair's day, one guy called the match, and that was Ric Flair. He called the entire match. He set up the whole thing. And he dictated the pace of the match. And that's why one of the reasons that you cannot say greatest wrestler of all time without having Flair in the conversation. It's not just because the matches were great. It's because he was so good at knowing how the crowd was, knowing where they came in the card, knowing what the matches were before him. He was beyond anybody. I go back to the Great American Bash. I think we've probably seen it in the archives. Outdoors, Charlotte Stadium. This is before the pay-per-views. And Ricky Ric Flair and Ricky Morton for the world title. And I remember being there that night, and the match started, the bell rang, and those two went at it. I mean, they from the time the bell rang to the first 5 to 10 minutes of the match, they just went at fast pace, a lot of fisticuffs, a lot of going back and forth. And I said something to Ricky Morton afterwards, and I said, Ricky, why you guys just started out it was like a crash. Why did you start out like that? And he says, that's why Ric Flair's the world champion. And I said, what do you mean? He said, because the match before us, even the 2 matches before us, were kind of slow paced. Flair knew that, and he wanted to kick it up a little bit. And so that's why Rick is one of the greatest of all time, because no one knew how to call a match like him. When Ric Flair was in a match, Ric Flair was in charge of the entire match. I don't know, say that. I'm sure you can about some guys back in the day, but I don't know.
It's interesting to see how wrestling just changes and evolves, and our taste do too, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, right. I never thought I would like these stunt show matches that we see sometimes,
Right.
And not necessarily with us, but
modern wrestling. Yeah.
Modern wrestling. I never thought, but I'm enjoying it. I think that I've changed, and I think you change with the wrestling as far as an announcer is concerned. I don't know anything better than to sit down and enjoy a Boca Burger and see Darby Allin jump off the top of a ladder onto plate glass. That's good stuff. Hello?
We lost Conrad again.
Okay.
You just got to stop. You just got to stop pushing his buttons.
If Boca Burger pushes buttons, boy, he's get back on here, you son of a bitch. Have a Boca Burger once in a while. They got cheese in them. Cheese in them. Hello?
Pineapple eating motherfucker, you trying to get me to eat Boca Burgers.
Hey, there's a question from Coach Rosie on here. It has to do with the NBA.
I know you don't give a damn about the NBA, but what do you think about Anthony Edwards' rise to being one of the best players?
Former Georgia Bulldog. As a matter of fact, his only year with the Georgia Bulldogs, I was with the team that year. So I got to see every college game that Anthony Edwards played, and he was something special. We played in the Maui Classic against Dayton, and I don't know how many points he scored in that game. The Dogs lost in the Maui Classic, Dayton, but that we stayed in the ball game because of him. Because of him, he was an amazing player. So I'm glad to see that, because he's a Georgia Bulldog.
Coach Rosie also wants to know, my son Andrew turned 18 yesterday. What advice did you give your sons when they turned 18? And did you kick him out of the house right away?
I didn't kick them out of the house right away. I told all of them, you can live here as long as you want. This is your home. But they all eventually left and moved their own way. And my advice to my kids was very simple. And I even got it on the wall back here, right there. You can't really see it. But here's my advice to any young person. And it's pretty simple. Work hard and be nice to people. That's simple.
We got Anthony D, who wants to know, this may have been asked before, but what was your favorite meal or your favorite restaurant in Canada?
There was a restaurant in Saskatchewan. No, restaurant in Regina that was across from the hotel. Stayed at this real old school hotel, really nice. Don Callis suggested a restaurant to go to, and I walked across. It was like at a bar type place, and the food was great. And to be honest with you, that was the only. And I had a meal at um, Bret Hart's bar, but those are the only meals that really I ate, because when I'm on the road, normally what I do is I'll eat at catering, or if not, I'll eat like a protein bar or something. We normally people ask, you go out and you see all these places and you get to see the sights, and we really don't. I've brought this up before. We don't see the sights. I normally get in the day of the show, go right to the building, eat at the building, go right to the hotel afterwards, wake up early in the morning and fly home. I see the airport, the building, and the airport and the hotel. And that's about all I see. So now when we go to England, I'm going to be there for an entire week, and I'll be able to see more of that. And hopefully I'll get to go to Scotland, maybe take that long drive, or maybe Ireland. I don't know. Wales. But normally I don't eat at restaurants.
Just realized, looking at the bottom right-hand corner of my rig here, today's May 20th as you and I are recording this. I know folks are listening on the 22nd, but as we're recording this today, Tony, 13 years ago today is when we lost Randy Savage.
Wow.
13 years. It's hard to believe he's been gone 13 years.
Yeah. Randy Savage, there's a lot of guys, you don't want to see anybody that you knew and you were friends with and work with pass away, but it's obviously it's a fact of life, but especially guys who were important to the business, like, and were great workers like Savage and Eddie Guerrero. You'd love to see them involved in the business in some way today. Yeah, I liked Randy a lot, man. He was I've said it many times, the ultimate pro. Today, we have to get ready. You're going to do a promo. Okay, I'll be ready in 5 minutes. 10 minutes later, I'll go in, get ready. You're doing a promo. Okay, I'm coming. You never have to say that to Randy Savage. Randy Savage got to the building and got dressed in his gimmick. And he was always ready. I tell you, there's a great false finish there. I tell you another wrestler who is a pro's pro and always is ready, just loving to death, is Samoa Joe.
Oh yeah.
What a pro. Yeah. We need more Samoa Joes in our lives. And I'm talking about as far as talent relations is concerned. Just one of the greats, man. And not only that, what a great performer. For a man his size, do the things he can do. Okay, so Brian, so let's see. Have they gone into the stands in this match yet?
No, but I mean, Bryan Danielson's about
I
to
think they're
launch
getting ready
himself
to.
out.
Yep.
Here we go.
Well, they went through the aisleway that time. So it's banging on
the replay right there. Yeah, that's to make noise.
Okay, I know it's to make noise, but was that an ROH thing to do?
Yeah, because those signs are metal. So it's not. So they make a lot of noise when the metal signs hit the metal bike rails.
Yeah.
What do you think of European uppercuts? Where are you at on those?
I always liked them, but boy, are they overdone now. Always liked them because they remind me of Regal.
Yes, agree.
Yeah.
And for me, Claudio. Oh, look. How about the referee jumping in there? Todd Sinclair not putting up with no bullshit.
And look at this picture-in-picture type thing. Bryan Danielson has run back, as you can see in that little small picture, to get something. No, he fell down. Looked like he was running back to get something. And the next thing you see his ass up in the air. So I guess, I don't know.
Well, we're looking to help you guys get something. And if your business targets men 25 to 54 years old, there's no better place to advertise than right here with us on What Happened When. Find out how easy it is to do at advertisewithwhw.com. And while you're browsing around, be sure to check out loisrules.com. We've got the infamous Lois Rules t-shirt now available and even a sweatshirt. We got the big motherfucker t-shirt, the vintage Tony collection. Oops, All Berries is a favorite, all available now at loisrules.com. And if you've got some suggestions for some old school matches that we should show Tony Schiavone and let him take a look at, we want to hear about those. It's at WHW Monday on Twitter and Facebook. It's at WHW Podcast on Instagram. And of course, Tony is also on all these platforms and would love to block you personally. So be sure to find him at Tony Schiavone 24. That's at Tony Schiavone 24. He will block you. You will be confused as to why. It's a whole lot of fun. And be sure to check out WHWmonday.com. That's the home for all things Tony Schiavone and our YouTube as we're winding down match number 4 of the day here on a very special day to celebrate Bryan Danielson's birthday, taking lariat after lariat from Nigel McGuinness here.
Who is the young man who rolled Bryan Danielson in?
Alex Payne.
Okay.
You know him as Claudio Castagnoli. Not really. I was just fucking with.
Fuck. I knew better than that.
You're like, there ain't no way.
No way. That kid is Claudio unless he grew another foot. And I don't mean a foot. I mean 12 inches.
Yeah, that was Alex Payne.
The fans popped when he rolled him back in.
A Des Moines, Iowa boy. Maybe you'll run into him in Waterloo.
That date's coming up quickly. Well, it's like anything else in life. It comes up. Think, wow, I got a long time till that happens. Long. By quickly. But again, a lot of blood in this match, like we've seen in all the other ones.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. These two men. God, what a rivalry. And now I'm in favor of these two wrestling at Wembley.
Why not? I mean, even this match.
Why not?
4 1/4 stars from the staunchest critics.
Yeah.
We're watching Rising Above 08. It was November 22nd, 2008. It's hard to imagine that after all these crazy wars, paying the price like they have here, that really Bryan Danielson hadn't even scratched the surface for superstardom that awaited him. I mean, all that WWE stuff is after this. Crazy.
Yeah, it is. And, you know, Nigel remains in phenomenal shape.
Yes.
One thing Nigel does is he gets to the buildings early and goes and works out in the ring.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep. Does these exercises, tries to help the younger talent. And so he stays in great shape. And so I'm all for it. I hope it happens. Don't even know if he wants it, to be honest with you. Don't even know if it'd be offered to him that he wants to do something like that. But I'd like to see he and Bryan go at it again.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, sign me up for more of this.
Yeah, absolutely.
By the way, I want to mention, Tony, that the bonus content keeps on rolling in over at adfreeshows.com. We just dropped our latest episode of Lex Express with Lex Luger over the weekend. And as folks are listening to this, an all new edition of The Book with David Crockett just landed, where we're going month by month, town by town, gate by gate through the more formidable years of Jim Crockett Promotions with Jim Crockett's original booking logs. We've also got your Saturday morning wrestling fix each and every Saturday with the Blue Meanie. It's called Mornings with Meanie. This week with Ad Free Shows members, he's going to sit down with both Eric Bischoff and myself for live interactive Q&As. The list goes on. More than 100,000 hours of bonus content is waiting for you right now, exclusively at adfreeshows.com.
Wow, you got quite a crew here, buddy. Quite a crew. Ad Free Shows. How's Kevin Sullivan doing?
You know, I don't know that we have talked about this, but maybe I'll just spill the beans. He got hit by a car. He was helping.
I heard he wasn't doing well, but I didn't hear that.
He was helping a friend move and got hit by a car and wound up being hospitalized. I've yet to speak to him. I've been told that he's okay. He's conscious. He's all right, but I guess he needed a surgery on his leg. But I don't have the full scope or the details. He's not able to text. I've heard he's able to talk on the phone. I've yet to connect with him, but he and I normally record on Monday. So we were supposed to record last week, but he got hit by the freaking car. So as you and I are recording, it's Monday again. He's still not able to record, not situated and set up and comfortable at home just yet. So keep those thoughts and prayers coming. I mean, he is an elder statesman of our professional wrestling community, one of the more brilliant minds in the history of wrestling. And I guess he was trying to do his best Darby Allin. Goodness gracious. Hope he's all right.
How about this? How about this for a finish? Hammer and anvil blows once again, and now he'll pin him 1, 2, 3. But
no,
2 count. Holy shit.
It's not over. Let's track it.
Nigel not tapping. He is not giving up. The referee's right there, and he's not tapping out. How much more can McGuiness take? Danielson with a bridge, extra pressure on the hold. Nigel to a seated position. He's going to work his way out of it, back on his feet. Only 2 with the suplex.
Isn't it cool though? I mean, by now you've noticed the trend. Here we go.
Yes. Tower of London. What a counter right there.
I mean, we've noticed the trend with all those elbows and then the cattle mutilation. He somehow finds a way to get out of it, turns it into a suplex, and the kick out breaks the hold. Nigel hits his own finish. Now we got a double down. The guys are exhausted, well over 20 minutes into the match. And it's a race to see who can just stand up here and get to their feet.
Thought it was interesting that Bryan was coming up with those elbows, and Bryan almost went out. The referee was checking to see that Bryan, who was executing the move, oh, Lord of mercy.
A lariat false finish that had the entire crowd popping.
Absolutely.
Look at the crowd. They're going bananas, man.
Yeah. And here comes from Nigel.
From all those elbows.
Nigel out to prove that he is the best wrestler in the world. Danielson's getting fired up. Back to his feet. Repeated elbows. Hard forearm from McGuiness. And another. Danielson tells him to bring it on. Nigel with the forearm strike. Oh, but the look on Nigel's face, he doesn't know what to do next. Series of strikes from Danielson. Rolling elbow. Headbutt. Ducks the lariat. Headbutt to the back. Jawbreaker. That's it. Oh, he took his head off. Cover.
Nigel McGuiness gets the win, Tony. How about that?
Wow.
The rebound lariat cuts Danielson a flip. Our champion retains. Happy birthday, Bryan Danielson. We just enjoyed watching you get your ass kicked today. My goodness.
Great stuff. Well, each man won a match of the 4 matches we saw, and they were as good a matches as you're going to find.
Yes,
they are. I mean, you'll find better matches, maybe, but not many. Awesome.
Go out of your way to watch more of this, by the way. It's ROHwrestling.com. Honor Club, one of the best kept secrets in wrestling. So many great classics are there. And I'm sure there's going to be more classics tonight on Dynamite. Bryan Danielson's birthday. Got a very special Collision in Las Vegas this Saturday and Sunday night. Boy, AEW always delivers on pay-per-view. I'm sure Double or Nothing will be no exception. I, for one, can't wait. Can't wait. Can't wait for Double or Nothing. And Tony, right now, it looks like it's about that time.
Well, before we go today, we are going to cook a couple Boca burgers on the what are you shaking your head about? A couple of Boca burgers. We are going to cook them on the grill, the big green egg at Conrad Thompson's house, and use the keto buns along with them. And for a side, we've got some pineapple on some pizza, but it's just not any pizza. It's Red Baron pizza that you get in your freezer, because we are just about out of time. See you next week on What Happened When. We come to you each and every Wednesdays on Westwood One. But Mondays, we come to you exclusively ad-free on
Patreon. Patreon.com/WHW Monday. Of course, adfreeshows.com.
Boca Burger.
Hey guys, Eric Bischoff here. Now, if you need cash without the controversy, the team at SaveWithConrad.com can help. But don't take my word for it.
Hi, my name is Richard Smith. I'm from Moss Point, Mississippi. One of my friends at work said I just been refinancing and my interest rate was 9%, and he said he got his for 2.3. So I said, well, maybe I should try. Got a hold of Diane. She kept in touch the whole entire time. We owned 2 houses, and we rented one out, and my renter quit paying, so we gave it back to the mortgage company. And because we did that, we had to wait 3 years for an FHA loan to go back through. The one thing that Conrad said on his podcast was, we'll never tell you no. We might say, not now, this is what we need to do, and we'll make sure we get it done. Well, prime example, 3 years. And when they say no money out of pocket, there's no money out of pocket. They figure it out. But like, she was so quick that, don't worry about this, I got this person. That's what impressed me the most. My name is Richard Smith, and I saved $700 a month with SaveWithConrad.com.
And unlike the dirt sheets, these reviews don't lie. With over 1,000 5-star reviews, find out for yourself how much Conrad and his team can save you by checking out SaveWithConrad.com and do it today.
NMLS number 32416, equal housing lender, SaveWithConrad.com.